Hey, everybody. This week, we're going to learn about the social media campaign components, both the process and the product that you'll need for your final project in this class and in the school of life. So let me share my screen and we'll get to it. Also, I know I'm wearing a hoodie and maybe that's weird to record a lecture, but it's cold in my office and it's a brave new world. So we're going to go with it. Okay. Yes. Campaign components. So what are the actual building blocks for a good social media campaign? Well, to get there, first, you will need to establish SMART goals. I'm sure you know what those are. I'll post the links to these articles in the video, but that stands for specific. So you have a goal you can actually, that is not general, like let's be better, but we want to increase sales by 20%. Measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Those are all factors that make a goal SMART and more likely to be met than too general. And align them with KPIs, that's key performance indicators. So how will you know if you met the goal? Well, if you establish, we want to increase brand awareness. So we want to get our brand in front of 1,000 more eyeballs, so 1,000 more impressions over the course of this month. That would be a performance indicator that let you know, hey, we met that goal. Choose the right platform. Are all platforms the same? No, of course not. And create content to match. Obviously, different platforms need different kinds of content. And then, of course, you monitor the results and you adjust accordingly. I've said this before in this class, but social media is very iterative. It's ongoing. You're always figuring out what's working best and doing more of that and doing less of the stuff that isn't working. Everyone's just figuring it out as we go along. Okay. Number one thing, the first thing you'll do. So this week, your homework is to do a social media audit for a brand. What brand, you ask? Any brand you want. You can pick a brand. You can use this for your final project. This can be the brand that's your client for the final project, but it doesn't have to be. You can just pick a brand that you like. So choose your brand. The examples we're going to look at here are for a project that a student did in this class last semester, and she actually ended up, I think it's for Outdoor Gear Revival, like an outdoorsy equipment store in Knoxville, and they're going to use this on their real social. So your work from this class could be utilized in the real world. So the first thing you do is define the brand's target audience or persona. So for example, the target audience for Outdoor Gear Revival, age 20 to 34, they're into sustainability, green living, they're a member of the community, and they're an outdoor enthusiast, obviously, because they're out there rock climbing and hiking and all that stuff. The persona would be the ideal customer. If you remember the CrossFit guy a couple lectures ago, like maybe this guy's name is Forrest, and he has a beard and he likes to hike and that kind of stuff. So you can define the target audience or persona because you have to know who you're trying to reach in order to know where they are. 2, define the problem. If you don't know what the problem is, how can you solve it? You can do this with a SWOT analysis. I'm sure you're all familiar with this, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, or it can be a more specific focused question, such as, how do we increase outdoor gear revival's engagement and awareness on Instagram? 3, conduct a social media audit. That's what you're going to do this week for homework. In general, you'll do an external social media audit, so you're not going to have to be like, hey, what's your Instagram login? I want to check your stats. No, just externally, you could tell for Outdoor Gear Revival, they have 148 Instagram followers, 610 on Facebook. The pictures with the most engagement, which is why you do the audit, to gain your insights or lessons. What she learned was the posts with the most engagement are nature pictures and ones of new inventory. And you use this in conjunction with social listening monitoring software. We'll do this in a couple weeks. The insights you gain from that will help you articulate your overall strategy. What's a strategy? It's a plan. And you could have multiple strategies. So for this campaign, strategy 1 was to use Instagram stories to market products. Because they're a great way to boost awareness and engagement. So if the strategy is the plan, the tactic is how you get there. Tactic 1 was Begin posting photos of new inventory on the Instagram story. That frees up the page and prevents clogging followers' feeds. No one likes it when anybody, brand or person, posts way too much in a week. 2, create a little section, create a highlights that has all of your inventory so people can see what you have for sale right now. And you can delete the photo once the gear is sold. Pretty simple. Strategy and tactics always go together like this. Number 6, solidify branding if the brand has not already done that. For example, you could say, oh, your old feed looked like this, but we're going to make it look more like that. And recall branding guidelines. You could give feedback like this about the logo, color scheme. She even added fonts, usernames, all this kind of stuff to make the brand more consistent across all platforms. Next, you'll plan out a content calendar. I should say every campaign won't have every one of these steps, but most campaigns will have most of these steps. So content calendar, it could be really specific, like this: sample posting schedule, 10 a.m. Facebook post, 11 a.m. Instagram post. These best practices are changing all the time. So before you create your content calendar, make sure you Google best time to post on Instagram, and you'll find whatever the most updated information is. So it could be very specific like this, or it could be general. Hey, most Mondays at 10 a.m. we're going to post a giveaway. Instagram noon, something interactive to get some customer engagement, stuff like that. Some kind of calendar that provides guidance for structuring when you'll put your content out there. A budget. Not all campaigns have the resources or the necessity to go with paid media. Sometimes it'll just be owned and earned. But this is a sample social media budget. You can see there's in-house, what can we do, outsource, what are we going to pay someone else to do. This is a hypothetical budget for a national brand, so that's why the numbers are really big on the bottom, but it goes by month. So you can see they have paid Facebook and Instagram versus owned, paid versus owned Twitter. This one for the brand, they chose to advertise on podcasts, so that's included too. So we'll calculate metrics later, and you'll know how much you pay for every 1,000 clicks or impressions on various platforms. But if you need a budget, that needs to be in the campaign too, obviously. And lastly, measuring your key performance indicators. How will you know if the campaign is a success? It could be kind of general like this. Hey, we want engagement to go up, audience growth rate, we want to get more mentions. It should maybe be a little more specific like this. This has a timeline too. So by July 2020, we want to increase engagement by 20%. That's specific, measurable, actionable, achievable, realistic, timely, all that stuff. Okay, homework is to do an external social media audit for any brand of your choosing. It might be easier if it's a local brand. That way you could maybe get in touch with them later to figure out their real goals, and maybe they can use your content. So you will pick a brand. You will choose one platform to analyze, but first, the first tab is a macro. So that's a big picture overview of all the social media they have. What platforms do they have? How many followers? When's their last post? Okay, so and you'll create a new Excel spreadsheet in tab 1. You'll have this. That's the big picture, all their social. Tab 2, you will do a more specific micro focus on one platform. For example, if it was Instagram, you would go through their last, I just did 3, but you can go through their last 20 or 25 posts, and you're going to record how many likes, what the engagement rate is, right? That's likes divided by number of followers times 100 to make it a percent. How many comments, the content, photo of a customer, photo of a person wearing shoes, the caption, anything extra that you want to note for your reference later. And then finally, the most important thing while you're doing this, what are the lessons you learned? Well, for this one, maybe you learned photos of people generate more engagement. So that would be an insight you would carry with you into the strategy phase of your campaign. Okay, you got this. I'm excited to see your social media audits. Have a great week.